right, so we are live this morning. Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, May 1st. That's right. That's the reason we're doing this morning. We are going to do our live reveal, our live drawing for our app launch download winner. So just to go back and let you guys know what's going on. Today is the launch of our brand new 10 Hoeve Realty Group website and the new app that goes along with it. We wanted to make sure that we get that in your hands, and to do that, we asked anybody to download that over the last couple of days before we switched over. And anybody who downloaded it before midnight last night was going to be entered into a drawing for us to help you and then help you help the community too. So what we're going to do is the winner who gets picked is actually going to get 5 $50 gift cards to be able to select which 5 local New Jersey businesses or local businesses in the state that they happen to be from. That they want us to buy them, and then we'll give them to you guys, and then you can go share that wealth in your local community to help your local small businesses. So the deal was, if we had more than 150 people, we would actually increase that prize to 10 $50 gift cards. We didn't necessarily get there. So we didn't get over 150 downloads. That doesn't mean you guys shouldn't still download it. So please do. But we do have a drawing. And what we did was, before we got it live on the air here, we put everybody into a hat. We pulled a random number and pulled that person out. And before I announce who that person is, I just want to make sure that you guys know who else is on this broadcast with me. So I've got AJ Tenho from our team, Karen Turan, Sabrina Mejias, and myself. Say good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Hey, guys.
Awesome. So we're going to tell you who the winner of this is right now. And you have 24 hours to claim your prize, which means you've got to shoot us back a message, either on Facebook, or text message, email, any way to get back to us. And then we'll get those prizes over to you. If not, we're going to do a new drawing for the winner tomorrow morning if we haven't heard from you. So let's go and see exactly who our winner was. Can I get a drum roll, guys? All right, so thank you to everybody who downloaded it. Our winner is Kelly Hernandez.
Yay!
So Kelly is a local Monmouth County business owner. We couldn't be more happy that she gets to win so that she can choose which businesses she wants to support as well. But Kelly and James Eustace operate This Is It Entertainment. One of the people we're actually going to be doing a feature on for our opening up series as well. So Kelly, congratulations.
Congratulations.
If you know Kelly and she's not on right now, make sure you shoot her a message so that she knows to get in touch with us to claim those prizes. We'll also do a video to let you guys know which local businesses she chose to support so that we can get some extra publicity out for those businesses as well. But congratulations, Kelly. All right, so on the tails of that, we also wanted to take the opportunity to go through some statistics with you, because today's May 1st, and I know a lot of you have either been guessing or hearing exactly what's been going on with the real estate market. So we wanted to make sure we track April this year versus April 2019, and really year to date, January, February, March, and April this year compared to January, February, March, April of 2019. So give us a second here, guys. We're going to pull up some statistics so you have a chance to take a look. I'm just going to check the Facebook feed here to see if anybody has any questions. Aaron Liller says I need a haircut. I got 2 already, so you need to bring that up with Nikki. She's the one who gave me the haircuts. All right, so I'm going to share my screen here with you guys to go through the statistics. Let's go back to the beginning. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through Monmouth County first, and then I'll turn the mic over to AJ and let him go through the Bergen County statistics. So, and then we have Karen and Sabrina here because I want to be able to have a discussion around what they're seeing out in the market anecdotally as well. So here we go. April 2020, what we saw in Monmouth County, and this is out of the MORR, Monmouth Ocean MLS. This is just for Monmouth County data across all different types of properties. So multifamily, single family, rentals, everything, land. During the month of April, what we saw was 890 properties listed, 726 pended. Pended means under contract. 219 properties withdrawn. Again, withdrawn means they were on the market being listed and then they were taken off temporarily. And then 816 properties that were sold or closed during the month of April. So we need some comparative data to see how that stacks up. When you go into the actual breakdown of year over year, we're looking at April 2019 versus April 2020. And if you look at the listeds here, let me just check back. Can you guys all see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Should have asked that in the beginning, but just to make sure you can see it. Listeds, you said, again, April 2020, we had 890 properties listed in Monmouth County. That's a 149% decrease from April 2019. That means we're operating somewhere around 25% of what we were operating with last year as far as active inventory on the market. And that's a really key statistic that we're going to talk about as we get to the end of this. Pending properties or under contracts are down 79%, April 19 to April 20. And then we have withdrawals are only up 7%. This is something that, AJ, you were surprised at with your stats as well, right? To see withdrawals in your area are actually down, and we'll get to that, but we didn't expect this to be as low a number as what we're seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's surprising, but I think it goes hand in hand with how many properties were listed. Your number of listed properties came down as well, but I would have expected it to be a higher number.
Yeah, for sure. And then lastly, closed properties. We got a little bit of a typo here is minus 26, but it's a 26% drop. That's not down as much as what we would expect. What we're attributing that to is the fact that a lot of properties that closed in the month of April were actually put under contract in January, February, or maybe the beginning of March. And that 26% drop may simply account for short-term closings. You get properties that close within 30 days. Maybe a lot of that business hasn't come to the table, and that's the reason for that drop. But that number is actually not as big a number as what we expected. We're interested to see what happens as we get into May, which would be the 60-day time frame for deals put into contract in March. So before we hop into Bergen County, I'm just going to go into each of these statistics a little bit closer to see year to date how they match up. So what you're seeing here is the pink line is January, February, March, and April of this year, 2020. The white line is 2019, the same 4-month period. So again, you're seeing that divergence of listed properties actually happen really almost in the middle of February where it happened here. And then it started to fall off in Monmouth County even greater between the month of March and the month of April. But you're down 149%. Pended properties, again, right around that beginning of March timeframe is where we saw things start to cross, and you're seeing the number of pended properties or under contract properties actually fall dramatically, 79% from where we were the year before. Now, just chronologically, what should happen is that if we had continued on the normal pace of our spring market, you would have seen more under contract properties in the month of April than the month of March. More in March than February, more in February than June. Unfortunately, that line did the opposite. Withdrawn properties, again, you saw a big peak here in Monmouth County back in the month of March with people going, oh, no one's out to look at houses right now. I'm going to pull my house off the market. And then all of a sudden, the complete opposite result happened, which was people kept looking, and people who took their houses off the market, a lot of them put them back on, or fewer people took them off subsequent to that. And like AJ said, I think that may have to do with a lot of the fact, going back here to our listed inventory, fewer houses on the market means fewer properties you can actually withdraw. And then looking at our closed, again, January through April, we're about 26% down. The month of March was really where that divergence happened, and you saw things actually drop off rather than continuing to go up with the spring market. AJ, I'm going to turn this over to you now to go through the Bergen details, okay?
Perfect. Appreciate that. Thank you, DJ. So I'm going to go through Bergen County, same exact way DJ did. As you can see from this slide, Bergen County listed 1,129 properties in the month of April. We had 460 go under contract, 564 homes were withdrawn and taken off the market, and then 532 homes were sold. That's important, especially when we look at the 2019 numbers. DJ, you can hit the next slide for me. Thank you. The listed properties are down 158%. So going back to 2019, there were 2,900 properties that were listed in the month of April. Moving to April of 2020, there's 1,129. So that's a big decrease in properties that went to the market. Same thing for pended. There were 460 homes that went under contract in 2020. Back in 2019, there were almost 1,300 properties that went under contract. So a huge difference in listed and pended properties. And then as DJ said, the withdrawn numbers aren't as staggering as I would have expected. There's 564 homes taken off the market in the month of April for 2020. There were just over 600 in 2019. So not a huge difference, but again, I think it goes hand in hand with how many properties were listed, and then also buyers and sellers realizing that the market's still strong, we should probably keep our home on the market. And then our closed volume, there were 532 homes closed in April of 2020 versus 791 in 2019. So that number is down a decent amount. You can go ahead, Dave. From the listed properties, this is huge. This is a huge number for Bergen County. You can see from the chart here how the pink line has really fell off in the past really month and a half. And we'll probably expect to see the same type of thing over the next month or two, depending on how long we're in quarantine for. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how May, June, July statistics kind of trend, hopefully not in the same direction once quarantine ends, and hopefully it'll be soon. And that pink number and that pink line really will go back up and almost have a V shape is what we're hoping to see. Same thing for the pendants. You could see the pink line really fell off once March hit and quarantine came into effect. And again, hopefully that number will go back up. Withdrawn, not a huge difference in this number. Like we said before, really only a 21% decrease. That number probably won't change too much in our opinion because sellers are seeing how strong the market is and they'll keep their homes on the market, especially with lack of inventory. And then our last slide. This, I think, will have a much bigger effect moving into May and June, and we'll see that number probably decrease because of the lack of inventory and lack of homes that went under contract in March and April. So your traditional 60-day close will be closing in May, June, July. That number is probably going to decrease the most in our opinion, just with how few homes have sold in the past month and a half.
Yeah, for sure. AJ, thanks for going through that. I appreciate that. I want to bring up everybody here again because Sabrina and Karen, all of us are out there in the market right now, and we're kind of hearing and seeing different things from clients that are active versus people that are actually not active in the market, either getting bad information or hearing it from a variety of different sources. So what I wanted to do is just kind of give people an idea of what you're actually facing out there right now for the buyers that you're working with. Sabrina, what are you seeing right now?
So yes, there's limited inventory as you guys were discussing, but you know, the homes are keeping their value. You know, I take my buyers out and they think they could get this really great deal, but like I said, homes are still selling at a great, you know, price. However, sellers aren't dumping their homes and homes are keeping their value, and you know, lots of interests are still out there. I was just over the weekend viewing a home, and you know, it was a packed schedule on Sunday. So you know, people are still going out there and buying.
Yeah, so you're seeing a lot of best and final offers too, is that right?
Yes, actually, I've been seeing a lot of best and finals multiple times.
Gotcha.
Just this past week, I had 4 listing agents.
So we actually brought that up on our call this morning, guys, which was highest and best or best and finals. The same terminology is used different ways across different parts of the country. And it really means usually that you have multiple offers and you're asking anybody who's interested to come in before a deadline to come in with their highest and best or best and final offer. You're not going to renegotiate. Whoever gives you their offers, you're going to look at those and decide which is the one you're going to proceed with for the seller. We talked about that this morning in that we're wondering whether or not there's listing agents that are saying, give us a highest and best, and they really have nothing in their hand versus actually having multiple offers. And AJ, you would agree with me, right? That's that's like playing with fire as a listing agent to go and ask for something like that without actually having offers in your hand, right?
Yeah, that's tough to do. And that's ballsy.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think a lot of that is going on right now. The majority of what you're seeing with highest and best offers is legitimate multiple offer situations where they've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Karen, you said how many people?
I had 5 multiple offers. And she told me right off the bat, you know, if you're going to come in above. Don't waste your time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very limited out there.
And we've got not just 5 offers on different properties that have 1 or more offers. You're talking about some of these properties getting 8 to 15 offers on the property within the first week. Now, it's not every single property, it's not every single price range, but AJ, what were you just telling me that happened up by you with the first showing on a property?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen this really too often or ever. There's a property that came on the market right here in our local neighborhood for $600,000. They had 1 showing. The buyer made an offer and the seller took the offer and canceled the rest of the showings. I mean, it kind of goes with the seller getting a number they want in good terms, and then also not wanting people to be walking through their home throughout the weekend and having 15, 20, 25 showings and exposing themselves to the virus potentially, but also at the same time getting a phenomenal offer and just moving forward with it. So they're even eliminating a best and final. They're just taking a good offer and going with it. So I think it's very interesting for a buyer that you have to almost be one of the first people in the door and make an offer and be ready to go immediately. And again, not for every home and every listing, but you can tell which ones are going to have extremely competitive offers and know, hey, we need to be there first and we need to be ready to go. So have your pre-approval and know what's coming next.
So that's the key part right there, right? That's the advice we're giving to our clients right now, which is if you're actively looking and you're ready to make an offer on a property, don't dilly-dally. Make sure you've got your pre-approval locked, ready to go, so that as soon as that property hits the market, either one of our team members is going to go virtually show it to you, or you have to physically be there ready to make the offer. Because Sabrina, you were talking about how a lot of the agents are actually time blocking to make sure that there's no overlap of people in the property, right?
This is true. They're doing 1 hour time blocking. And I came across that actually a lot. A lot of agents are doing that.
Another thing is, obviously, we're not doing open houses as an industry right now. It's not a safe thing to do. It wouldn't be respectful of everyone's safety. I think you'd have a serious amount of backlash from it. So you're not having agents put properties on the market and draw it out until the open house when they think they're going to get extra activity. Agents are looking to put a property on the market, get offers as quickly as they possibly can for their seller, and then limit the amount of people that are coming in and trying to get the property into attorney review as quickly as possible. Would you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
So it's even more important to make sure that you're there on day one and that you're working with a real estate agent who's got their ear to the ground and their finger on the pulse as soon as that property hits. Which ties back in to a very big part of self-promotion here, which is the app, right? So we know that Zillow has become ubiquitous, and whether you use Trulia or you use Realtor.com, most of those sites are linked to the Realtor's MLS, which is where we put our properties in and where we search. And the delay between when a property goes into the MLS and goes out to those other sites can be as much as 24 hours, 36 hours sometimes, which means that if you're relying on those search portals to tell you when a property comes on the market, you're missing out. You're later than the real estate agents that are actually looking at that property. And that's why sometimes when you call on a property that you see on Zillow, you end up finding out it's already got an accepted offer, or it's already in attorney review, or whatever the situation is. So a big reason why we've invested in the app that we have and the website that we have is to make sure that real time, as soon as that property goes into the MLS, you're being notified about that. So that's another reason to download the app, even if you're not actively searching right now, just to keep tabs on what's going on in your neighborhood. If I can go around to each of you four right now, Karen, Sabrina, and AJ, I'd like to ask for what your predictions you think is going to happen over the next 30 to 60 days as far as pent-up demand, too much inventory. Where do you see the market going over the next 30 to 60 days, AJ?
So I think it's an interesting question, and I think it all depends on when the quarantine's lifted and when people feel safe going out really into the public kind of for the most part. Over the next 30 to 60 days, I think you're going to continue to see low inventory, with extremely high demand because of where interest rates are. And I think you'll just continue to see this trend of properties that come on the market and have incredible demand from buyers for the most part. And again, not at the price points, but I think you're going to see low inventory with crazy buyer demand as long as nothing catastrophic happens with the economy and where interest rates are.
Right. Now, obviously, we heard an announcement this morning that there's 30 million unemployment applications now we've reached in the entire U.S. So that's something we've obviously got our eyes on, looking at unemployment and how many of those people get hired back very quickly once the stay-in-place orders are lifted. But I think that the telltale story here is just not enough inventory. Sabrina, what do you think is going to happen?
I see a light at the end of the tunnel, most definitely. And the buyers that are out there right now are serious buyers. And I think we're going to see this trend of having more buyers needing to move. Sellers need to sell and buyers still need to buy. However, I think there still might be a low inventory. So we'll still see like multiple offers out there. But like I said, I agree with what AJ said. And, there will be a great snowball effect and there will be buyers out there and not enough inventory. But again, we have to see what the future holds in this whole quarantine period. But yes, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I think the real estate market will hold.
So, Karen, I'm anxious to hear what you have to say about this too.
So I agree. I think interest rates are still really, really low, and I have a lot of buyers who are looking. I also have a lot of buyers that are on hold. and waiting for everything to be lifted. Once the quarantine is over, I feel like they're just going to be running. And I agree with AJ and Sabrina, inventory is still going to be low.
Right.
I think it's a great time to put your house on the market and list it, because you'll get a lot of people coming through your doors.
Yeah,
So,
agreed. So one of the things we've been talking about as a team for the last 45 to 60 days is, with all of the people who either took their houses off the market when this happened, thinking that nobody was out looking at homes, or had planned to come on the market sometime between the beginning of March and April and said, you know what, hold off, I'm going to wait until the stay in place orders are lifted. That's going to create a tidal wave of inventory that's going to hit probably all within a 2 to 3 week period of time once the state of emergency is lifted, in our expectation. But what we're seeing from looking at the statistics right now is that it still may not be enough inventory. Even though you're going to squeeze the entire spring market of inventory into a 2 to 3 week period of time, we were operating in January and February at anemic inventory levels, meaning that that's the reason why we were so strong as an industry, is there were way more buyers out there than there were the number of properties listed. Well, that's only gotten worse, right? So we had a consolidation effect of amount of stuff on the market. And now, even with the tidal wave of things that come on, let's call it middle of May, end of May, beginning of June, whenever that happens, is it enough for the number of people that have pulled out of the market temporarily and all of a sudden go, hey, I'm ready to buy now? Is it going to create even more multiple offer situations, or is there maybe too much inventory that hits that it disadvantages sellers? I think it's going to be the first of that situation, which is that there's not going to be enough inventory, even with all of it that hits at the same time. Did anybody feel differently about that?
no, not at all.
No, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. So it's another reason why to make sure you're ready to get out there and make your offers, get your pre-approvals ready. And if you're looking to sell your property, you can still get out in front of that tidal wave of inventory if you put your place on the market now. You just have to be comfortable showing your house, and we have to make sure that we're keeping the appropriate measures in place to make sure that everybody's safe as they're showing the property, both as a homeowner, keeping yourself safe, and then the people coming through the house, keeping themselves safe as well. So any other closing party notes from anybody on the team?
No, I think
No?
you hit it off.
Cool.
Thank
Just to reiterate, we have a winner of our app debt launch download. So Kelly Hernandez, everybody call her, find her, make sure she reaches out to us today, because we want to make sure that she can claim those prizes. Thank you guys for hopping on with us.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Sabrina. Thank you, AJ. And thank you all for joining us. Be well, be safe, and we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.